so Saturday night, we have once again postponed Z night one night because of extenuating circumstances. And we are here at the shop. We got the Z on the dyno, and where we are currently with the Z, everything runs fine. I had to adjust the fuel map a little bit to get it all right now that we're on the sequential fuel injection, but we are fully sequential right now, running one injector at a time. We've seen the improvements in our data logs as far as fuel pulsation goes, but we haven't really gotten it into real boost. And so what we're set to do tonight is definitely like dial in the fuel map and make sure everything's safe all the way up into high boost. And also we're gonna monitor what the fuel pressure does while we're at high boost. But we're immediately, first thing we're gonna do, we're going to flash in our 11.5 tune. That one that we used at import face-off that had us dialed really close to 11.5.
Just for those that you didn't see, we won first place, by the way.
Last year we did win import face-off, and we are seeking the same result this spring, March 8th. March 8th, the Z Crew is going to be at Ennis, competing in import face-off. Matt's going to be piloting the Z this time. Hope he's ready, but we need to get it ready for that. We don't know how much racing we're going to get to do prior to import face-off, and we don't want to push the car too hard before we get to go out there and compete. So we're going to go ahead and get it on the 11.5 tune. Another thing that's been going on the past couple times I've driven the car, the Tuner Studios has indicated that we're overheating. I haven't made any changes to the sensor or the wiring or any of that stuff, so it's a little unwarranted why I would do that. I'm not sure if the car's actually overheating. I don't believe it is. I got my infrared thermometer, and we are going to use this to try to confirm our temperatures, make sure that the temperature sensor is working like it should, and that everything is safe in that regard. I also got us another thermostat just in case we find that it is actually getting hot. I have a new thermostat we can throw in it, but the coolant level's full. We're not getting coolant anywhere we're not supposed to. What is that?
Oil.
Ooh, the oil looks pretty bad, dude.
I know.
I think we should change it. Just while we're here, we got a lift, we got everything. It'll be real easy to do. But we'll have to run over to O'Reilly's before 9 o'clock to get our VR1 oil. So we're gonna make sure cylinder head temperature is good. We're gonna make sure the boost control is manageable. We're gonna make sure the fuel map is safe, and try to just get it ready for import face-off. As long as that all goes good, we should have a nice clean map. We're aiming to run about 18 and a half, maybe 19 PSI. At import face-off, we're gonna be running a little bit less boost on the launch to try to not break anything. We do know that we have some weakness in our rear end, so we have to manage that this season. As of right now, we haven't done anything. We don't even really have a plan in place for the rear driveline. So that's something we're going to be brainstorming this season. Once the 2J's in there with a turbo 400 with a trans brake,
We're gonna need something.
we're going to be breaking shit all the time. It cannot handle that kind of shocking hit. So we got to come up with something. Till then, we're just going to be soft on it.
We got some ideas.
We know we can run more boost, so if we need to pick up on the back end to make up for a softer launch, then that's certainly something that we'll aim to do. But first thing now, we're going to flash the 11.5 tune in it. We're going to make a good pull in second gear all the way up to red line. Make sure we're at a good boost, and we'll just go from there. All right, so during our last pull, we had two issues arise. It started running hot, and we got the infrared thermometer on it, and we're able to see that it was, in fact, running the temperature that it said it was. So that means our temperature sensor is working like it should,
Which is good news.
which is good, but it means we are running too hot, which is bad. So you can see right now at the sensor, we got about 160 degrees. It was well over 200. And that's a cylinder head temp. So that's cylinder head temp. That's not coolant temp, but you can assume the coolant was really hot too. The upper radiator hose, or it was cool to touch. It was just cold. So what we're gonna do now, I do have another thermostat here. It's an alternate temperature, so it's a little cooler than stock. So that'll help us a little bit too. But what we're hoping is it's just the thermostat sticking shut. So now we're going to swap out the thermostat and try again. Another thing that happened on the pool is it cut. Something cut. We lost it, totally like shut down power, and I'm not really sure what happened. The crank signal didn't lose sync according to the data log, but you can see right about the time that I think it happened, it goes really lean, or the fuel pressure drops significantly momentarily and then pops back up. So I think we might have just lost fuel pressure for a moment. And we do know we have issues with our fuel pump driver circuit. I have transistors to replace the ones that I damaged when I shorted the board out. It's been shorted. It's gonna probably spit a little bit. Yeah, just push down on it while you take it off. Just let it up slow. It usually just burps a little. Okay.
Not bad.
So we got to look more into that. It may be that our circuit that drives the fuel pump cut out for a moment. That wouldn't be hard to believe, because
find out.
First thing we're gonna do is get a thermostat in it, try to keep it cool. So we're gonna try that and we'll reassess.
Well,
Might need a little start with a ratchet there, fella.
Still works.
Oh, good.
I think it's still under warranty.
Yeah, probably not.
8-day warranty.
They're pretty good about making it out of the warranty. So most guys don't run a thermostat at all in their race car. I like to have the thermostat just because it
makes it nice and warm real quick. You know?
Well, yeah, that, and it just keeps the temperature more stable, so it makes tuning a lot easier. You know, your fuel and stuff changes when engine temperature changes.
She also likes it when she's warmed up.
Yeah, she likes to be warm.
Ooh, yeah. Hey. Oh, there she goes. Nice and hot.
Come here, girl. Okay. Well, the other one is back there next to my laptop, I believe. All right, so we've decided that with the information we have, we can best conclude that the engine is in fact running over temperature. So we trust what the sensor's telling us. It's been pretty plausible, and we confirmed its temperature with my infrared camera, and everything is pointing to this head is running hotter. The cylinder head temp is hotter than typical. We went back and looked at some old data logs where it never got over like 212 degrees ever. So what I've done now is I have disconnected this bypass hose. This used to go to the heater core. Of course, we just bypassed the heater core and just ran the hose from there over here to the other end here. So I'm gonna have Matt just crank the engine, but go ahead and just crank it up for a moment and let's see if we get any flow out of this hose. Did you hit the starter button again? Yeah, you spaz.
I was trying to slap the thing and I just hit it.
Well, we had hella flow out of that, like strong flow. And that's coming from the back of the head and goes up to the to this outlet housing right here.
And we know we have flow from the water pump.
So the water pump's working. That's disappointing. I was half expecting this to just barely trickle. But man, it was flowing really good. Okay, so now I think we're gonna pull the thermostat out and just let her just flow constantly. I don't know, this may just be a band-aid for a bigger problem. At this point, we don't really know. I mean, we got a good flowing radiator in it that stays nice and cool. We got a new thermostat now, and we've confirmed that the water pump's moving the coolant. So we know we got flow coming through the cooling system, good strong flow. And so we're gonna go ahead and send it without a thermostat at all. Just make sure that we're not doing anything that's gonna obstruct that flow from going to the radiator to cool down. And at that point, there's really gonna be little question whether the cooling system is doing what it's supposed to do. The best I can conclude, based on what we know so far, is that 250, 260 degrees for the cylinder head temp is not outrageous, especially when you consider it's an inline engine and the sensor's located between 5 and 6, the furthest away from the radiator.
I would just like to note this on the record. I'm nervous.
Matt's concerned, but he so far hasn't brought any good ideas for us to consider besides just proceed. So we're gonna send it without a thermostat. Really what we need to work on now is figure out why the engine's cutting out. And we'll just focus on that for now. We'll make sure we got plenty of airflow to keep things cool and see if we can get that resolved. Check out after 2 pulls, we're only at 157 degrees now. So evidently, taking that thermostat out is going to do us a lot.
We've outgrown our thermostat.
Cool. Well, that's good. At least things are staying cooler now.
That's a big weight off my shoulders.
Man, that made a huge difference.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Oh God, I feel better.
All right. Well, we still got this cutting problem. I know we're not losing cam sync.
Yeah, I gotta say, it looks like it's going rich when it cuts, because right when it cuts,
bunch of fuel.
there's a big puff of smoke out.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, I noticed that too. We're not getting any spark cut. We're not getting we're not going super lean. We're not losing sync. We're not getting any cam fault messages. So we need to figure out what the hell is going on, because it does it like at the same spot, it seems like, every time. And I need to just stay on the throttle and see what it does after that, but it's so shocking when it happens. It's so much. I think what we should do is bypass the boost regulator and just run on gate.
See what happens.
And see what it does. And then
Then we'll know if it's boost related.
the potential for catastrophe is a lot lower, much lower boost pressures.
Yeah. And if it if it doesn't cut once we put it to gate, we know we gotta look at boost.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's do that.
Okay. You think that we're losing fuel pressure? That's the only thing that I can think of that would make sense if we're dropping fuel pressure, right?
I didn't see that before. Let's have a look.
Video this.
So you can see the TPS is around 100%, and I keep it there, but the RPMs dive. So we're at an okay fuel ratio when it starts. So
Yeah.
it's coming up. 4,600 RPM, still coming up. And the moment it goes down right there, our AFR is at 13, which is definitely a little high, but...
Oh, look, it spikes right there, and then it shoots way up after it drops again.
What are you talking about spiking?
Like it jumps up to right here?
Well, yeah, because that's when whatever event is taking place happens.
Yeah.
So I think the AFR is going wacky as a result of whatever is happening and not the cause. Because we're at wide open throttle, 4,800 RPM, AFRs are okay. Fuel pressure is normal, and then it like cuts right here.
Where's the fuel pressure?
Breaks up.
Where's the fuel pressure? Oh, 53.
The green one right here.
It drops significantly right there.
Well, it's map based, so our fuel pressure is referenced off manifold pressure, and this is what manifold pressure is doing.
Yeah.
And you can see it acts exactly like manifold pressure, which it should. The good news is we're not running hot anymore, so at least we're not cooking the engine while we do this.
Right.
Man, it almost feels like we're blowing out the spark. Doesn't even make sense. We're not even running any boost right now.
How would that happen?
How would it
blow out the spark?
like worn plugs or like big spark plug gap. But it just totally falls on its face.
No, something's going on.
I mean, what's changed? We've never had this problem.
I know. The only thing that's changed is batch fire and taking out the dampener.
Yeah.
I think we need to look into just...
I can switch it to batch fire real quick and we can see if it still does it. Let's try that. All right, let's try another test.
Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that we removed the fuel dampener? No? Okay.
The fuel pressure is staying pretty good steady.
Okay. I mean, that's the biggest change in the fuel system that we've done, other than replace the hoses, but that shouldn't affect anything.
So we thought maybe we were running too lean on the fuel table, so we went ahead and added a bunch of fuel. Now it's running super rich all the way up to the point that it starts to act up. We
still have the cutting issue. Same cutting issue.
Same problem. So what I've done now is I've switched it back to batch fire injection, and I totally got rid of the cam signal altogether. So now it's not even going to be looking at the cam sensor signal. It's going to be running solely off of the 12 window trigger wheel that's on it now, which is also new, but it takes the cam signal out of the equation completely, and we're going to try that next.
Not go. It's just like fishing, you know? It's just a lot more sad.
Yeah, when you catch something, you're sad.
Oh, there's the big piece. Look at that.
It's like a washer or something.
Yeah, it's something for sure.
Huh. We found, in addition to that big washer that's up in there that we're not sure the origin of, we've also found quite a bit of little small chunks. There's definitely some metal in here. Something's not happy. So, don't really know where it's from. You get any more? Most of it's pretty small, and then there's like this weird washer in there. We don't know where it came from, so.
Thank God for pickup tube screens.
So who knows if we're gonna find more problems soon,
But next week we'll be pulling the pan and you'll get to see.
we definitely need to get it running right regardless, and just see how long it lasts. I mean, what else are we gonna do? Tear it down?
We got a nice nifty 2J sitting in the back.
We got a pretty sweet 2J that we were gonna turn into tiny metal bits at some point.
However, we were hoping to avoid that before our first round of import face-off this season.
Yeah. Well, just finished the oil change. Better that it's out now, I suppose. Although I don't know where it came from. Well, we got our work cut out for us now. What did we accomplish tonight?
Well, we eliminated a lot of potential causes for the cutting out issue, and we eliminated a lot of potential causes for it. Kind of came up empty-handed on that one, which we're going to refer to our boys at the forum for. Hopefully they can shed a little bit of light on maybe what's going on. But we also discovered a bunch of shit in the bottom of the oil pan.
A little bit of shit. There's a little bit.
Let me preface. We discovered a lot of a little bit of shit and one of a lot of shit. One giant washer in the oil pan, which we don't know it's from. I mean, we've never pulled the pan off.
No, we've never had the pan off.
So who knows? I mean,
no telling where the washer
might have dropped it in there at some point, but what concerns me is that we don't know that for sure.
No, and we did get the overheating issue sorted, it would seem, by removing the thermostat, which is kind of more of a cover-up of an issue maybe, or, I mean, I don't know. We never had this issue before, but now everything's staying cool. After multiple after multiple rips on the dyno, everything stayed cool. We know we have a problem breaking up at 4,700 RPMs. We tried a bunch and to no avail.
Just a whole bunch of shit.
Lower ball joints are coming apart.
Lower ball joints are just totally failing.
We need to figure out the lower ball joints, or we need to find some new ones. Hopefully they're still available.
Unfortunately, that is at the lower end of our list right now.
We got the oil change done, and we're going to call it a night. I will be posting on the MS Extra forum. There's a lot of helpful guys out there, especially pertaining to Mega Squirt, guys from DIY Auto Tune. There is just a lot of brilliant minds out there to kind of bail you out when you get in these situations, and I've leaned on them a few times already, and this is going to be another one of those scenarios where
we can't just do it all ourselves. Okay, come on.
We're not.
Guess right.
We really don't know what the hell we're doing most of the time. But yeah, so that's going to do it for tonight. I'll probably I got to solder in the new transistors to the board for the fuel pump thing, and we'll see what we got. What we got coming up later in the week. Hopefully we get it sorted out. We could try some things. I'm gonna go ahead and just bring the car home, and so I could do some road testing if they give me some things to try, and see if we can get that issue sorted out, and we'll just go from there. But we're not planning on tearing the engine down. I'm not that worried about it. Honestly, most of the stuff we found just looked like slivers of thread.
Yeah.
Like, for all we know, it could just be remnants of past oil changes or past drain plugs stripping out of the pan.
Several tiny little pieces, and I mean, it's running the same it has been for the most part.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, oil pressure's really good.
No obvious catastrophic issues at this point.
We don't have any unusual engine noise, so we're gonna keep sending it the way it is. I think it'll be fine. Matt's really worried.
Worst case scenario, we got a 2J back here.
Yeah, luckily we got a plan B, a really expensive, time-consuming, probably be double the headaches that we're dealing with now, plan B, which is wrapped up there in the corner, just ready for action.
Ready for action, baby.
So I replaced both the transistors on the motherboard, and that did not fix it. Still pump running at all times, and I figured out with my DVOM that one of the diodes for fuel pump control was actually shorted on the board. So I happen to have an extra one of those, went ahead and soldered it in. And now, if you listen real carefully, the pump comes on, primes up, and then shuts off. So we have sorted that issue. So that's one less thing to deal with now. So that's gonna do it for this week. We sorted out a little bit, but we still have a lot of issues that we're battling. Unfortunately, this type of content just isn't all that exciting. I'm gonna go ahead and just share it anyway, just, you know, for anyone interested in seeing the struggle. You know, a lot of this stuff, you know, just modifying cars in general is just really challenging at times, especially with EFI systems. You know, we've already pushed this car past what it was meant to do performance-wise so far that it's just getting to be very fickle. We're just having lots of little issues all the time, but I do think we've made a lot of ground on getting the car ready for race season. We've really got the suspension straightened up. We're going to do a little bit more of that next week. We are going to end up pulling the oil pan next week also. One, to get a little bit better look of what's going on inside the engine, but two, we have a pretty significant leak back there, and we don't want to get kicked off any tracks for leaking any fluids this year. So we're going to go ahead and do the oil pan gasket, and we got some lower ball joints coming for that. This week, I have been already. You know, I've already got a lot of time invested in working on the cutting out issue. I've got composite logs of my cam and crank sensor triggering systems, and I've got a lot of stuff in the works, but I'm still kind of waiting on some support from the forum to help me figure out where to go from here. So once that's sorted out, honestly, the car is going to be as good as ever. It runs really good until that one spot at like 4,600 RPMs. And once that's straightened out, we're going to be back in action. So don't give up on us. We're not giving up. We're going to keep grinding through all this mess until it's all perfect. And luckily we got some time. You know, it's only mid-January, so we got time to get it all straightened out. But have some more coming at you next week. Thanks for watching.